Hey guys, welcome back. We're with Total Health and Wellness. For those of you who don't know us, this is Teresa. She's a board certified family nurse practitioner. And I'm Mark. I'm a certified health coach. Tonight, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about, we want to talk about something called upstream and downstream medicine. We'll give you the definition and talk a little bit about that. And then tonight, we're specifically going to kind of hone in on how it kind of ties in with some medical misinformation around metabolic health or low carb, keto, carnivore type ways of eating. But before we do that, really quick, I want to show you guys what we're having for dinner, just so you guys know we're real. We've got a couple of burgers here on my plate. I've got bacon, I've got eggs, and we have Teresa's crustless keto pizza. So looking forward to that. So as soon as we're done talking here to you guys, we're going to be having this for dinner.
Yum.
All right. So just to kind of set the stage for this, I guess let's talk a little bit about what upstream and downstream medicine is. It's really, I think it kind of came about through functional medicine, don't you think? You know, it was more of a functional medicine term. It's being used a little bit more now, also in like alternative health areas and whatnot. But in any way, upstream medicine just means where the root cause of the problem is. That's upstream of that whole thing. And then downstream is what the symptom is, or the symptoms of that particular problem that's being caused upstream. And why that's so important with us is that when you're talking about Western medicine, they want to focus on the downstream. They want to focus on what the problem or the symptom is, and they want to treat that symptom. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about some specifics around that. And then upstream is where you have more people who are looking to get to the root cause of the problem and to treat the real problem, not just mask or treat the symptoms of that. So I think tonight we wanted to talk a little bit about a piece of misinformation around high blood pressure and salt. I think most everybody here has heard, you know, if you've got high blood pressure, you got to watch your salt and sodium intake and whatnot. And we're here to tell you right now that that's not necessarily true. So did you want to talk a little bit about that?
So in the 80s, there was a lot of shenanigans going on with medical research, and Harvard was at the core of some of it. But they paid Harvard to say that sugar, or in another instance, fat, took the fall for salt and carbohydrates. So there is a white powdery substance that's responsible for high blood pressure, but it's not necessarily salt. I think 95, this is just my opinion, 95% of hypertension, high blood pressure, is insulin. So when you spike your sugar from eating, it doesn't matter if you ate banana or ice cream, your sugar is going to go up because both of those are full of sugar. And then you have to release insulin. Insulin causes your kidneys to retain sodium, and then that makes swelling. So you got a tighter vessels to push your blood through. And so that creates high blood pressure. But when you get high blood pressure, they don't say stop your sugar. They say watch your sodium.
Yeah. So just to put that in the context of the upstream, downstream, upstream over here, you guys can't see my arm.
No,
I'm pointing that way. That way.
You go upstream.
Right. So upstream. Okay, I'll point. That's actually really good. I didn't think of that. I don't know.
I'm so smart.
You're so smart. That's why you're a nurse practitioner. You know, it's great. But anyway, upstream. So the upstream is you're eating sugar. You're eating carbohydrates. Okay. Mm-hmm. So carbs ultimately turn to glucose. And of course, most of our food that we eat anyway today on the standard Western diet is typically mostly sugar or energy anyway. Yeah. But you eat that, and then your body responds by producing insulin. Your pancreas produces insulin, and that circulates in your bloodstream. Then that causes you to retain water, and then the water causes you to retain more salt, and then the salt ends up, downstream. I'm going to point down, not over here behind you. It ends up downstream. It manifests itself as high blood pressure. Okay, so
I'm going to give you another example. I had today a new patient, but then also I have explained upstream and downstream as, say you're at a sink and it's overflowing, water's coming out, or a bathtub. When you practice downstream medicine, you're just sopping up the water on the floor from the overflowing, where upstream, you should just turn the faucet off. Okay, so that's another way to look at it. So this morning, I had a patient, and it was all the usual thing. Ragey, irritable, moody, can't sleep, weight gain. So she went to her primary about, I think it's been 2 years now, and said, I'm irritable, I can't sleep. And so he put her on. Progesterone's the answer. Progesterone is what she needed. But he put her on Ativan because she had an Ativan deficiency.
Well, going back to the analogy with regards to the high blood pressure and being downstream too, it's treated, all the medical provider is doing in a Western medicine scenario, purely Western medicine, is treating that symptom, which is high blood pressure. Okay. Which is just a Band-Aid. It's not fixing the root cause of the problem. No. But something to understand too is that when you put somebody on a pharmaceutical drug, it changes your body and the processes that your body it carries out normally and its functions and whatnot. And so high blood pressure, correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa, but it has some side effects.
Yeah. So, I mean, it can drop your pressure low enough that where everything's kind of heavy. It can cause ED in men. I guarantee you, if primaries and cardiologists said to men, I'm going to give you this pill, but some men get erectile dysfunction, they would be like, I don't want it.
No, thank you.
Pass.
Hard pass.
Some of the beta blockers, which are also blood pressure medicines, they work on the pulse. So they bring the pulse down. So if you're used to functioning at 70 or 80 and now you're at 50, that's tough to do life with as well. But remember the mode of operation of corporate medicine. And remember, I call them corporate medicine because it's only about making money. Corporate medicine's mode of operation is a pill for an ill. So in their toolbox, so like you come to them with whatever problem, they're looking through their toolbox, but there's only two things: a prescription pad or a scalpel. So surgeries or pills. So they act like they're looking through a whole bunch of things. It's just two. It's two things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about another piece of medical misinformation. We'll stay on the metabolic health side with this, is talking about the keto flu.
Yeah.
So if you go online and you research keto flu, or you research even the keto way of eating, you'll have a lot of articles pop up, and a lot of them will be good, a lot of them will be bad. But on the negative articles, you'll oftentimes hear people talking about when you go on a ketogenic way of eating, or low carb or carnivore, you'll start having brain fog and lethargy or low energy and just a cloudiness and fogginess and whatnot. And there's a term for that. It's called the keto flu.
Yeah.
Now, there is an element of truth to that. Okay. The element of truth is that when you very first start on your ketogenic journey, that there's some processes that take place and start changing your body while your body's adjusting, which cause that. And it is the keto flu. But you have to understand that that's a transient process. Okay. It's short term. And so they don't tell you that.
Right.
And the second thing is it can be treated.
Right.
Very simply, but they also don't tell you that. When you look it up, it's oftentimes said that, oh, this is just what happens when you're on keto. It's not true. So there's an element of truth, but then they make a falsehood out of that little tiny sliver of truth.
Right.
And so what's the solution for that when people have keto flu? Electrolytes. Absolutely. You can, in fact, I'll grab some out of the cabinet right here because I've got them.
I just said this in a text to a patient: either get a powder that you put in your drink or get capsules.
Yes,
just get electrolytes.
Absolutely. So there's the element powders. It's LMNT. I don't really care for those because they have stevia as the sweetener. It upsets my stomach.
I think the plain one though doesn't.
If you don't like that one, you can also go. I found it on Instagram. There's one called ATH Sport, Alpha Tango Hotel Sport, and they use monk fruit in lieu of the stevia. I started using that. A little more expensive, but it actually has not bothered me at all. And another thing you can do, I'm just going to grab it out of the cabinet here. Pardon me.
No one says Alpha Tango whatever hotel.
ATH.
No one says
I'm
that.
a military guy. That's the phonetic alphabet. Everybody knows that. Come on. All right. So this is one I like. You can get this on Amazon, guys. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Keto electrolytes by Code Age. I know it's backwards for you all, but anyway, that's we take 2 of those a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And then we also, I have, like I said, I've got those ATH sport drinks. So when I went out like I did today and ran sprints, I came back and I mix a little bit of that either with some water and I have it, or I might even they have a cocoa flavor you can mix with your coffee. It's really good. And I'll have a little bit of my afternoon, midday coffee, with just a little bit of coffee, then water and the ATH sport. Yeah.
Do not have coffee mid-afternoon.
I can't. Let's call mid-afternoon noon. Let's not
coffee.
talk it. Okay. So
have coffee
noon is my cutoff. Okay. Around noon. So I drink coffee no later than noon. It's just a little tiny bit, a little sliver. Okay. All right. What else are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Okay.
So much. I had a new patient, another couple today. Well, it's the husband of my patient. And they were just like, especially after COVID, we are just done with the medical system. Yeah, we're just done. It's broken. And it's
unfortunate. A lot of doctors and practitioners doubled down. A lot of people that weren't even involved in medicine, they doubled down on all this stuff during COVID. Yeah. And it's made people not trust doctors, not trust nurses, not trust the medical system. It's terrible. Yeah. And so a lot of people now are just doing everything they can to stay out of the hospital. Not that that's bad.
No, you should.
But they're not going to see their providers for things they normally would have gone to see them for before. And so what's the end result of that going to be? We don't know, but it's probably not going to be great.
Yeah. We are friends with a doctor and his wife, and we go out to dinner with them monthly. And he was saying the same thing. They just the people don't trust us anymore. Yeah. But he said, how could they? Look how we reacted with COVID. Look what we did.
Yeah. It's too bad.
Yeah. What I was going to say something.
Okay. You need me to sing while you're doing that or something to help keep everybody entertained? You guys don't want that, by
Oh
the
my
way.
gosh.
Ah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we can keep it short and sweet. So
Okay.
it's all good. We can go eat. We're both hungry, so we can go do that.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions or any ideas, please throw them out there in the comments. Also, check out, if you're on Facebook, check out the comment section. If you're on YouTube, check out the description section of this video. I've got a bunch of links down there you guys can follow. It's got links to podcasts, websites, different things we talk about here all the time. So yeah, just go check that out. And
I know what I was going to say.
okay.
If you go to the doctor, like you're 50, I'm going to be 54 next month. If we were in the system, you would be on at least 2 or 3 meds, and I would probably be on at least 6.
Yeah.
And then every med you start with then creates a side effect, and that gets you another med, and that creates a side effect, and that gets you another med. And nobody cares that you're on 2 blood pressure medicines, 2 antidepressants, plus an anti-anxiety. But heaven forbid you give someone hormones, and they're going to have a fit.
I can attest to this too, because I am involved in the VA medical system. I've not been in years, but when I do go in there, it's the same thing every time. Antidepressants, cholesterol medicine or statins, cholesterol medications. They just offer all these different things, and I'm like, no, 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 and they can't believe that I don't want these medicines.
Yeah.
So usually I end up getting in a little bit of a tiff with the doctor or whoever I see, and it doesn't go over well. But anyway, I never go back, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, as always, we're going to wrap it up here. We love you all
So much.
God bless you. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, food matters.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.